welcome to Chrissy's Coaching Corner, session 2 of the series. So I really wanted to focus in on having this particular series take place. I was thinking Sunday afternoons, but today was just a really crazy busy day. It wasn't a bad day, it was just a really busy day. I had a couple of things. I had a friend come over, we had brunch, and that was really nice. And we sat and we just talked about a lot of things that we needed to talk about. It was really soothing. Do you know how you feel when you're with a person that speaks the same language as you? A nice caregiving, giver, sweet person that, just has a really good heart. So every time we connected, every time we're with each other, that's how we feel. And I always feel like she leaves feeling a little bit better and I leave her feeling a little bit better. So we spent hours together and it was just wonderful. It was a beautiful time. And then I attended Coach Jessica's Women's Improvement session, which was awesome. It was amazing. So I don't know if you guys follow Coach Jessica, but Coach Jessica is really amazing. We had a really good session today. So anyway, with that being said, this right now, it is about 10 o'clock on a Sunday. I should be in bed, but I wanted to at least record the video since tomorrow I work and I want to drop it. So this should be dropping sometime Monday morning or afternoon. But I want to start trying to focus in on having posted it on Sundays as a self-love, self-care Sunday situation. So we'll see how next week goes. So last week we talked about how can you forgive. And what I said I would do was, honestly, this was so therapeutic for me. I said I would actually write out the questions on the Coach Yourself section and do the work on my own and then come back and share my thoughts with you guys. I'm gonna be honest, this was hard. But I think as I share, I'm being vulnerable, but I'm also being honest with myself and I'm healing myself too. So this has been helpful already and it's only week 1. Well, this is week 2. So what I'll do is I'll go through the coaching questions from last week's session, Coach Yourself. So the first question was, whom do you need to forgive? I put my father. I need to forgive my father. And what do you need to forgive them for? I was really honest with my answer. It's a little lengthy, but I'm gonna share it because I think it needs to be shared. Like, this is my story. And the only way to truly heal is to share it, to get it out in the open. And if no one else hears it, if I'm just talking to myself, at least I will have gotten it out. Said it out loud, been honest in terms of how I feel. And this is in no way to say that my father is a bad person. I just feel like he has some issues and traumas that he has dealt with in life that have gone unresolved. And I don't want to be that way. I want to heal so I can live a full and happy and vibrant life and not hold on to past things that people have done to me. So that's what this whole process is for, to help me heal, to help me just really get over it, to own it and just get over it, right? And talk about it. And in this whole process, I hope to inspire and motivate others that are having issues and have some deep, dark, hidden secrets. And you need to get those out. You need to get those out, whether it's talking to a professional therapist, whether it's talking to a life coach, whether it's journaling, praying, crying about it, talking to a trusted friend or loved one. You need to get these things out. Family secrets are not, they don't benefit us in the long run to keep them secrets. I think it's important to let things out so we can truly heal as a community, as an individual. I think it's important. So that's what we're gonna do. So what do you need to forgive them for? So I have a couple of things. As a child, there was lots of verbal abuse at home. Lots of screaming and name calling. I brought lots of insecurities into my adulthood because of these moments. I struggled to love myself, and I struggled to see my value. Therefore, I was accepting people into my life that did not belong. I was in intimate relationships with men that I probably should have never been involved with. Among these, another thing, so there's a second thing, I said I should have never been in. Among other things, right? Other things that I allowed to consume me just because of how I felt about myself. So that would be smoking, drinking, smoking cigarettes. I used to smoke cigars. I used to smoke Black & Milds from the time I was 18. I smoked cigarettes from the time I was 19. I used to drink to like really numb the pain and hide the pain that I felt. And just because I felt so insecure about myself, I was just trying to make myself feel better. So another thing was, when I was 18, my father kicked me out of the house because I no longer wanted to be a part of their religion. So my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses, and they kicked me out when I was 18. Literally, they had me pack a bag and made me leave the house in an hour. So, and there'll be more details on that as I go along this journey. And as an adult, the third thing was, as an adult, he was kind of in and out of my life. So he would be nice, and then I would have this sense of, oh, I have the father that I've always wanted, and now that I'm an adult and I have my own space, maybe we can have a real relationship, right? But it was always with an ulterior motive. It was always with the intent of, okay, you have a child and we want to save this child. We want him to go to the hall. We want him to be a Jehovah's Witness. So like, he would buy stuff for my son Josh, you know, like he would buy me stuff, he would buy me boots, he would buy me coats and all kinds of things. And at the end there was always the, you know, you should be going to the Kingdom Hall, you know, Josh is not going to live on the paradise earth. I don't know if you guys are aware of Jehovah's Witnesses, but I won't go into detail about that in this session. But it was just a lot of threats, like you know, you're gonna get destroyed, and God is gonna destroy your son in front of you because you're not being obedient to him. It was just a lot of toxicity in those conversations. So just coming from it, I just feel like those conversations were never, I mean, those interactions where he would help us and treat us and buy us stuff while I was kind of going through my struggles, I feel like it was all with an ulterior motive to kind of buy me to go back into the religion that I denied as an 18-year-old, and it just wasn't happening. So it always ended in him telling me that we were gonna die and I was gonna watch my son die, and it was just toxic. It was just all around manipulative and toxic. So that was another thing, and for me it left a deep hole in my heart because I kept feeling like we finally have the relationship I wanted. We would talk all the time, but it never stayed. It was always with an ulterior motive. So that also made me feel like I really couldn't trust anyone. And I think I had a lot of unhealthy attachments to other men, particularly men I'd been in relationships with, because of that void. And I feel like I was trying to replace my dad's love with their love. And this is just me thinking about it as I was writing this. Not in those moments. I didn't realize that was what was going on. I just stayed with people in relationships that did not really serve me or weren't really the best for me. So another one I have is, so this one is hard. The next two are kind of hard. So he used my information to obtain car insurance, and the account went delinquent and it went on my credit. So here I am trying to fix my credit, trying to get my life together, struggling, poor, broke, just struggling to try to go to school to make a way from me and my son and my family, because I was with his dad at the time. And then also going to work full time, no car, taking the bus, just trying to build my credit up. And I get a delinquent account on my report about something I never knew anything about. It turns out my dad had car insurance under my name for years, illegally, apparently, and he stopped paying the bills, and then that went on my credit report. I ended up disputing, and after 2 years they did take that off of my report, but it's not something he's ever owned up to. It's not something he's ever apologized for. And so that's one of the reasons why it's on here. I think the last one is the hardest for me, because this is the one where I just decided I didn't want to have a relationship with him anymore, no matter what it looked like. I just stopped trying at that point. So he borrowed a large sum of money from me. He claimed that he needed it because his house was in foreclosure. And so I sent it to him, and he said he never received it. I sent it electronically. He said he never received it. He was very convincing. He had someone on the phone with me saying that it was someone from his bank. Now, there was no way for me to really confirm this, but I trusted my dad because he was my dad. But in foresight now, I don't know. It could have been his friend, but they said that the account, the money never came to his account. So he was trying to convince me to send him more. I think the initial time, I made it too easy. I was just, because I had been saving up, but I told him, like, this is savings. Like, I'm trying to save to get myself together. Like, I was so proud of myself, and I was so proud of being able to share that with my father. Like, I've been broke. I've been, like, really in a bad space for years, but I graduated and I have this job, and we're really working on things, and I'm trying to figure some stuff out. And this is when I was single. Like, yeah, I was single at that point. And I'm just, like, really proud of myself for getting to a place of financial stability where I could actually save up, right? And I feel like he exploited that. Like, I feel like I tried to share that with him, and instead of him being proud of me, he used that to his advantage. So he had me thinking he never got the money. But at that point, I mean, I'm not a fool. I'm just like, okay, so we'll dispute it. And he was like, yes, dispute it. I didn't get it. Like, you can talk to my bank. I didn't get it. And he had someone call me. I didn't think to call the bank to confirm with the actual bank. So I disputed it. And the dispute came back. They denied it, and they really proved that he had, in fact, received the money. And I called to talk to him about it. He didn't respond. I called him for days. I sent him text messages, no response. And honestly, that's the last time we talked. And then after that, once I really figured out what really happened and realized that it was all to deceive me and to exploit me for more money, I left him a recorded message and just said, you know, all the things that I have been through with you as a child, as an adult, I've never thrown it in your face that you kicked me out. I've respected you. I have let you talk about how we're gonna die and get destroyed. And this is it. Like, I'm done. I can't have a relationship with you, my father, and I cannot do this. Like, so that was the last. I left him a very detailed message about how I felt, and that's the last interaction I have attempted to have with him. At that point, you know, and the story goes on, but on my end, that's just when I decided I can't do this anymore. This is not good for my health. He's not a healthy person, and it's just making me feel worse about myself, and I had to let it go. So, next question: how would it feel to stop taking their offending actions personally? Okay, so I said I went to therapy for years about this, and I thought I was over it. I realized recently that I am not, but have chosen to move past it. It's hard not to take it personally because it has caused a lot of pain and trauma in my life. I pray about it, and I'm in a much better place than I had been for years. There's still a small part of me that resents him for how he mishandled me, but I do recognize that he has his own trauma that he hasn't healed from. I am slowly feeling the freeing effects of not taking his actions personally and realizing it had nothing to do with me, but everything to do with him. I cannot help but forgive him. And then so Coach Sheena had a coaching call. Shout out to Coach Sheena, because it's kind of like she speaks to my soul and she doesn't even realize it. I think God, I say it all the time, God has sent me these angels in the form of my YouTube family. Coach Sheena had a coaching call last month And along with this writing exercise, it brought it home even more. I have intentionally shut him out of my life, which I said I haven't talked to him since then. That's been years, at least 4 to 5 years. It's been a while since I've talked to him. I said I even changed my phone number. I changed my son's phone number. So the only way he could really contact me is to literally drive to me, which we don't even live in the same state. So I realized that there are some things I have to take care of in the future related to this relationship in order to truly heal. And I'm working on mentally preparing for how I want to do that and how I want to start that. And it has to be when I'm comfortable and I have the mental capacity to handle it, because I can be very sensitive. And I finally, like, I was depressed for a while last year, and I never want to feel like that again. So I'm very protective of my peace and my space. So if I don't have the mental capacity to deal with something, I just don't do it until I'm ready to. And I think that's a healthy approach, as opposed to forcing myself to do stuff, because that's when I used to get depleted and really depressed. And I just can't do that to myself anymore. I love myself too much to do that. I have to do things when I'm healthy and able to deal with it. And that's what I have come to realize with boundaries and loving on myself more. So more to come with that. But for now, we're just trying to work through how we're going to manage that and when we feel like it, when we're mentally able to do that. And the last question is, when are you willing to do that? So I said, I am starting right now. So that I'm no longer taking things personally. I'm challenging myself to take action on the next stages of healing this year. So I hope to start the stages this year. So we will see how that goes. Yeah, this is water, guys. Okay. So let's go on to chapter 2. I'm just going to read chapter 2 and then we'll follow up with the questions next week. So chapter 2 is, what can your emotions teach you? And there's a scripture. Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end. Proverbs 29:11. That's really good. Point to ponder this week. You can learn to read the messages your emotions send you. That's good. That's really good. So there are many things. This is the beginning of the chapter. There are many things I've learned as a personal coach, but one of the most effective was a truth I had never considered before I heard it. The late Thomas Leonard, a pioneer in the field of life coaching, used to say, emotions are teachers. Emotions are not there to simply annoy you or make you miserable or ecstatic. The annoyance, misery, and excitement are there to get your attention and offer you clues about the state of your life, your thoughts, and what you should do next. When you learn to read the messages your emotions send you, you can literally coach yourself to higher levels of happiness and success. That's good. Today, I challenge you to simply be honest about your emotions and ask yourself, what message is being offered to me right now? Here's a quick cheat sheet to help you get started. Anger. That means a boundary has been crossed. Perhaps it is time to set stronger boundaries or protect yourself from trespassers. Guilt. You believe you've done something wrong. Maybe it is time to apologize, or maybe you've done nothing wrong and you need to reset expectations. Jealousy. There's something you wish you had in your own life. Perhaps it is time to be grateful for what you do have, or start creating a situation that reflects your heart's desires. Disappointment. Your expectations weren't met. Maybe you need to readjust your expectations. Burnout. You've exhausted your mental and emotional resources. It is time to restore your energy and fill your tank back up. Sadness. You've experienced the loss, whether the loss of something or someone you had, or the loss of the vision you thought you were going to have. Give yourself time to acknowledge and mourn your loss so you can move forward again. Anxiety. You fear danger is looming in the future. Excitement. You are experiencing something that energizes you. How could you savor it and perhaps even create more of that in your life? Allow your emotions to school you. not rule you. Listen for the messages they are sending and use these as an opportunity to grow. So for me, this made me feel like I thought this was really helpful because all of your emotions are tied to something. But the bigger message is, how do you adjust your thoughts to embrace your emotions and to regulate them? It's not based on external factors or people. It's based on what you need to do to regulate those emotions. So I thought that was really helpful. So there's a challenge. My challenge to you: acknowledge your emotions, then listen to what they are trying to tell you. Now here's our coach yourself question. What persistent emotion are you experiencing lately? What message is the emotion offering you? What action will you take as a result of that message? So I want you guys to listen into that, really pay attention, go back if you need to listen to what happens and what you should be doing for these different emotions and what they can teach you, and coach yourself with the questions I just read. And I will be doing the same, and I will be sharing my thoughts and my feelings on chapter 2. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to Chrissy's Coaching Corner session 2 in the series. Touch base with you guys next week for session 3 of Chrissy's Coaching Corner. And next week will be, hang on. Next week will be, instead of being happy when, will you be happy while? This is good. Hope you guys tune in next week. Talk to you guys soon.